Hey, what's going on? Put2onme.com is the website. This is your morning sports. Good morning with Put Two on Me Sports. This is where we kind of break down just super quick some things that are going across in the sports world. Pardon me. Never eat before you get on the microphone. That's the number one rule, cardinal rule. You want to make sure your food digests. But with all that being said, Put2onme.com is the multi-sport platform. All things sports related. We customize sportswear. No matter the sport, it doesn't matter. This is what we do. Let's quickly get into it. I'll put2onme@gmail.com is going to be the email. If you choose to send an email, if you want some more information on what we do and how we do it, whether it's the manufacturing side of things or whether it's, the sports, good morning sports, we'll put two on me. It all, whatever your heart desire, really. Across all social media, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, we're on all those social media platforms, so make sure you follow as well. I want to dive into it, but the first thing I want to say is this. Every single season, every single NFL season, analysts across the world, it seems like they get so caught up in week 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, and I don't understand why. I get it. We make these, assumptions on whether or not teams are the best teams in the league because you've seen them play a really good opening game. Obviously, Kansas City and Baltimore, they played a really, really good game. In my personal opinion, Lamar Jackson has to be the leader on that team. I think he's the leader. I want him to be the leader. But he has to show us that he is the leader. When you're playing a Kansas City, there's no room for error. There's no room for missed throws, misdirections. Running too much. There's just no room for that. And if you want to be in that category, speaking about Lamar Jackson, you want to be a winner. Which you are, but I mean, you know how like the world looks at you in this NFL world. Like you're not a winner until you win Super Bowl champions. I honestly think you're a winner if you're making the playoffs because this is the NFL, not for long if you're not the type of athlete that you need to be. But the NFL is not chump change, So you making it to the playoffs, to me, you're in there. You know what I'm saying? But some people will look at it as you're not quite that because you haven't won that championship. It's very hard to win a championship. So if you're joining for the first time, I have a lot of computer screens around me, a lot of different things, stories popping up, live stories. I'm here. So please forgive me. But one thing I want to say is this, last night, obviously, NFL opener, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, and a few key pieces that I felt make these teams special. I'll get into that super quick. But once again, if you're a familiar person, if you're familiar with how I do things, I try to really expedite it and really hit on some key points, and then I'm in and out. With all that being said, Lamar Jackson, he had 273 yards. He was 26 for 41, one touchdown. Patrick Mahomes threw for almost 300 yards. He was 20 for 28, 291, one touchdown and one interception. That 20 for 28, that's an MVP. That is somebody who really is on their game. Somebody who's dialing in. Lamar Jackson, to me last night, I felt almost like he felt like he had to put the game on his shoulders. He had a lot to prove. Came in he looks great. He trimmed down, looks really good, as far as just his conditioning and athletically, But I think early on, running too much, not staying in that pocket. And I'm all for a running quarterback, the Michael Vicks, the Josh Allens, the Lamar Jacksons, these guys, even Russell Wilson is amongst the leaders in rushing quarterbacks. I think Lamar Jackson has just, is ahead of him by a few yards or whatever it may be. But with all that being said, I'm all for a running quarterback. But what I'm not all for is that if you come out running and you totally forget about your passing game. You have Derrick Henry now. You have Zay Flowers. You have Hill. You have Likely, you know what I'm saying? You have Bateman, you have Justice Hill. As I mentioned before, you have these players that are prepared to help you win games. Derrick Henry, 46 yards, 13 carries. That has to be a key component to the Baltimore offense. It has to come through Derrick Henry as Lamar Jackson is being a leader. I think Lamar, once again, because a couple of those passes down the line, the last three plays, obviously, one to the corner, that should have been a good pass. Obviously, Likely across the middle, the misdirect the pass, that should have been a good pass. And then obviously, the toe tap, that was an excellent pass, but obviously the toe's just being a little bit too long. With all that being said, Lamar Jackson, it's early. First and foremost, it's one game. You understand what I'm saying? Both of these teams played really high-level football, but it's one game. With all that being said, let's not get super excited. I can't judge these teams on how their season's going to go based upon this game. You understand what I'm saying? As good as Kansas City is, as good as Pacheco, Worthy, shout out to Worthy. This kid is like Tyreek, the new Tyreek they're saying. He's definitely worthy. Patrick Mahomes, Steele, Rice, Gray, Kelsey, this may be, once again, there's been conversation, the best offensive team that Patrick Mahomes has around him. And once again, if Lamar Jackson can understand how to take the burden off of his shoulders, you still play with that. But it's not all on you anymore. You have some pieces that you have to really depend on, and you have to hit those pieces when the pieces are open. So great game. Baltimore 20, Kansas City 27. You can't make much, judgment on the future this season on these teams. You know what I'm saying? But round of applause for both teams. They played hard, and I think when they see each other again, it'll be a little bit different. So obviously tonight we have the Eagles over in Brazil. So I'm not I don't know. It's been some stories as far as what's going on over there in Brazil and the crime rate and stuff like that. So players have to stay inside their hotel rooms, and they're not even bringing family members or anything like that. So, but we have Green Bay and I'm sorry, and Philly. Yes. So Hurts and Love obviously going at it, 8:15 on Peacock. Shout out to Peacock, CBS networks, all the networks that basically have the games for viewing. Once again, thank you for making that happen. With all that being said, I'm looking forward to the Green Bay game. Moving on, I'm going to come back at you. Good morning with Put Two on Me Sports and the Eagles. So my prediction in this game is going to be Green Bay. I like the way Green Bay looked. I think they're going to roll right into this season where they left off last season, and I feel like they did pretty well last season. So Hurts and Eagles have a lot to prove to me. With all that being said, keep it locked in on Put Two on Me. Put2onme.com. Once again, across all social media platforms. Share this video. Talk about this video. Leave your comments. Let me know what you think about Lamar Jackson. He needs to calm down a little bit. Too much running last night. I get it, but it took him out of his throw game. And then when it came down to the throw game, obviously we've seen Patrick Mahomes versus Lamar Jackson. But Lamar, you look great, and I'm pulling for you. So there's no knock against you. Put two on you still. 2 is 1, and 1 is definitely none. Have a great day, man.